Hello, below Jello. It's a girl, Tomato Teddy, also known as DT or whatever. So guys, story time. I started this video right after 1980s mode came out, but then I forgot about the video, and then remembered the video, and I started drawing again. What are my thoughts on the new mode? Well, it looks pretty cool. I'm still playing through the mode, but it really inspired me to make another Yansim redesign video. So anyways, let's get started. For this video, I'll be focusing on two rivals and one side character, and those people may have already been spoiled due to the thumbnail. But first up is Amai Odayaka, the second rival and the leader of the cooking club. Her current design is not that bad. It's actually really nice, and she looks like a character I myself would make as an OC. And as someone who's really into baking and loves women, big, hot pink highlighted yes. I still wanted to change her design for the sake of a redesign, but still make her kind of recognizable. I tanned her skin and added freckles cause why not? I added the freckles because they reminded me of sprinkles, and Amai is supposed to be a very warm person, so warm skin tone. I made her have a little more stomach, although it may not seem obvious in the art style I'm drawing in. You see, marshmallows are round. Marshmallows are also sweet. Amai is sweet and a marshmallow. So why not make her rounder than most of the other rivals? And chefs do taste test their own goods sometimes, and I imagine that Amai has done a bit of taste testing for her parents' bakery. I was also planning to make her shorter than Osana at first, but then I was like, no, I want to keep Osana as a short-tempered gremlin, so I kept Amai taller than her. Also, this Amai is in the same year as Senpai in this AU, so instead of calling him Senpai, she just calls him Tomomi-kun. I let her keep the bandana and socks she had, and I gave her the typical girls uniform I made with the tie and added some Mary Janes. If you notice the leader's armband, you can notice that I changed the symbol from a cupcake to a chef's hat. I made this change because there's a bunch of more stuff besides cakes and pastries that they make in the cooking club, like salads and sushis and whatever the Shoku is making. Like in her original art, I had her carrying food as well, but considerably less since there's little space in my canvas. I drew her carrying the wicker basket with the baguette inside like the original, though I did kind of struggle with deciding the shape of the basket. I didn't just decide to have her carry a plate of pancakes with strawberries, because I can't draw whatever cake that is. Since we don't know too much about Amai yet, outside of the Amai challenge and her appearance on Saturday, I don't have much to work with in terms of backstory, but I can still try. So as you all know, Amai was born to a couple who owned a bakery. I also imagine that the bakery helps Academy with their bake sales, and that's how Amai got into the school because her parents helped with funding bakery sales for the school. Amai became friends with a girl who frequented the bakery often to buy donuts and cakes. The girl was actually Hanako, Tomomi's younger sister. She then eventually brought her brother with her to the bakery to meet Amai, and the two got along quite well. So in this AU, Senpai already knows her before Amai's week. Since I assume that in actual Yansim, he's all like, do I know you? The cutscene after you eliminate Osana plays how it actually isn't a canon game, but they have more of a friendship, and instead of Info-chan taking the picture, it's Ayano stalking Senpai. Speaking of Info-chan, I might make a redesign for her, but not in this video, not yet, in the future. But anyways, here's Amai, this softy marshmallow who makes a mean cake. Next up, kind of unexpected, I decided to do famous and beloved Midori. Now, I already made a redesign for her a few months ago when I started my first redesign video, but I had yet to feature her in an actual video. As you all know probably, Midori is the fourth wall breaking gamer girl Carrie's beloved character that lives to annoy people with questions and who may or may not have a bunch of clothes living in her basement and inside the walls of the school. Since she's such a popular character, I decided to redesign her for a video. Plus I had a cool idea for her. Since she's not a rival or a main character, I try not to make her pop out a bit too much since that's the rival's job, but since she does play an important role in this AU, I still want her to stand out just a little. I changed her hair from being just long green hair for her to have some of her hair tied into a braid at the back, which was then tied by a green bow. I don't know what the style is called, but it looks like that hairstyle. I gave her the uniform with the sleeveless vest and tie, and I also added gloves and a bracelet to add to the gamer vibe. I was just going to leave her arms bare, but to me it kinda looked unfinished, and I made it so she wore a long sleeve shirt underneath her uniform. I imagine she isn't as super studious and not as fancy or law-abiding as some of the other students, so I gave her sneakers, but with Velcro. I was originally going to just give her the normal sneakers like Osana has, But I decided to make them Velcro because imagine how annoyed the teachers and students might be because Midori always keeps adjusting and readjusting the Velcro on her shoes and then it's just noisy in the classroom. Also headcanon, Midori does not know how to tie her shoelaces and that's why she wears Velcro. I also gave Midori a name change since her name literally translates to green. I know Midori isn't really a character people are supposed to take seriously since she's literally a reference to an actual anime character, but if she's going to be placed into an AU I made where they're kind of more serious, I have to change her surname. So I changed her name to Midori Chabashira. Midori obviously meaning green and Chabashira meaning green field. So her name still kind of means green, just not as green as green. Other than that, there's not a lot in her design to write home about, but what I am most excited about is her backstory and relevance to the plot. I decided to make Midori a middle school friend of Ayano who would previously know Ayano and recognize her. The two met in middle school obviously, but they were a pretty odd pair of friends since Ayano has a resting bitch face and Midori literally wears a smile 24/7. The two met up again in high school, which is when Ayano discovered her crush on the boy from her childhood. Ayano asked Midori for help dealing with her feelings, and Midori says she just found a new secret job which could potentially help Ayano with her problems. Thing is, it's not what it seems. You see, in this AU, Info-chan exists, but not a singular person. Info-chan is more the identity two specific people in Akademi share, our OG redhead Info-chan and our girl Midori. Last year, the two girls met, and Info-chan finding out about the potential Midori has, which may or may not be related to her fourth wall-breaking abilities, she hires Midori as the second Info-chan. Midori introduces Ayano to her buddy and her new friend's business, and they strike a deal. The two will give Ayano supplies that Ayano couldn't normally get, like the fake ID and microphone, and in return, Ayano gives them information about their other classmates so Info-chan and Midori can blackmail people. So, win-win situation for the both of them, I guess. I guess I only chose this because I noticed that Midori and Info-chan are sometimes portrayed pretty closely, especially in the Ninja Girl music video. I also imagine that the duo can also be called the Traffic Light Girls because, you know, traffic light colors. So here's Midori Chabashira. It's her! Last but not least, the fourth rival, Okaruto. And before you people ask, why didn't I do the third rival? I'm pairing her up with another character in another video. Bet you can already guess which character. So I'm skipping the third rival and going on to Oka. Just like Amai, Oka's design is really not that bad. She's cute even. I especially like the spider web pattern gloves and socks. However, this is a redesign video, and I can still point out a few areas in her design which might need a bit of redoing in my opinion. So let's get started. First of all, a new name for her, cause I legit just realized that Okaruto literally translates to occult in English. I mean, I guess this is kind of a jokey anime stereotypes game, but really, her name is just occult in Japanese. So she gets a name change. I did want to keep the rivals' names as closer to their actual names as possible. Oka is actually a name in Japan, just a surname. So I changed her name to Suki Oka. Suki means moon, cause the occult club likes to be all gothy and mysterious at nighttime. And Oka, of course, means hill. So I guess her name translates roughly to Moon Hill. Pretty sure there's a horror game named something similar to that, I don't know. The occult club, at least in the 21st century, all had this gimmick where they all seem to have at least one eye covered to make them look more mysterious. Whether it be by hair, eye patches, or the weird fact that one of your glasses lenses isn't working properly. So I decided to add that to Oka as well, since for some reason she doesn't have that despite being the leader of the club. Maybe so I can clearly look into both of her eyes when I'm deciding to yeet her out of existence. I kept her color palette the same, with her long dark indigo hair and the pale skin. I did change her eye color because I did notice that her eye color is a bit more gray purple and didn't really fit in with the color palette I had in mind. So I changed her eyes to dark indigo like her hair. I also kept the choker she had on because I thought that was pretty cute. I gave her the female uniform with a few adjustments to it. First off, I made her skirt much longer. Oka is an introvert and shy, and I feel like it wouldn't make much sense if she wore such a short skirt like in the canon game. Not saying introverts can't wear miniskirts, just saying that Oka isn't the type of introvert to wear one. I was originally going to give her like combat boots, cause they're a very emo thing, but then I realized 80% of the boot would just be covered by skirt, so I just gave her the loafers. I also gave her this cardigan, because I thought it would fit her. Plus, her civilian clothes involve her wearing a turtleneck sweater, and I thought, you know what, Oka would look really cute in a cardigan. I added a few finishing touches to her, including the occult book she has with her, and bam! We finished her design. Also, just a note, I was listening to a video about the tiny cowboy and Roman general from Night in the Museum being gay while I was drawing her. No real reason why I said that, just wanted to let y'all know. It would be harder for me to try to work with her backstory, since we barely know anything about her outside of her appearance in the town, but I can try make a backstory for her. So basically, the occult club really isn't an occult club, but club where they research mythology and have an excuse to talk about demons and ghosts because Headmaster, we're allowed to talk about Satan because he's in a lot of mythology. I imagine that Oka may or may not have one, if not both of her parents dead, Disney style, and is currently finding a way to revive them through ghostly rituals. Because of this, there are a lot of rumors spiraling around that she accidentally killed them and is trying to forgive her sins by reviving them. I imagine this type of information is talked about when you're eavesdropping on a bunch of bullies, which then you could use that info to either blackmail Oka or befriend betray her. How did she meet Senpai? The two both like books, so they often see each other in the library sometimes. Oka ended up falling in love with the boy because he was so pretty and charming and kind to others, and stares at him from across the library sometimes while he's reading. Their meeting after week 3 kinda depends on how you eliminate your past rivals so far. If you killed, kidnapped, or used mind slaves as a way to get rid of them, Senpai will begin to think that he might be cursed and go to Oka for advice. If you've eliminated the rivals in friendly ways like matchmaking, befriending them, or making Senpai reject their confessions, Senpai will begin to think that there's something wrong with him that makes girls not like him and go to Oka for advice because, of course, you'd go to the ghost girl for advice about whether girls like you or not. Either way, Oka will become intrigued by his situation and promises that she and her club will help him. Hearing about how nearly every girl who has gotten close to him either dies or stopped talking to him will make Oka nervous as she wants to get close to him too. She tells her club about Senpai's situation, so they'll usually start roaming around the school more, looking for places where Senpai is most often at for any sources of a curse. This will make it harder for you to poison bentos or trying to run around without getting caught with a corpse, so you have to strategize. Basically, there's a photography club, but Spirit Halloween mode. And with that done, here's Suki Oka. And that's all my character designs for this video. I really hope you all enjoyed this video and that you'll enjoy my other videos soon to come in the future. My social medias will be in the description, and goodbye to you all!